I sold a Vision Jet. A nice, pretty aircraft for this atrocity of an H125. But I think I did it for a very valid reason. My passive incomes are going to be changing. When I put an H125 into a cargo configuration and I started running missions from oil rigs, I started earning over 100,000 credits in passive income, where we see the Vision Jet only earning passive income of 85. Doesn't seem like I really need a Vision Jet anymore. So we've come into the headquarters and we can see that we've obviously spent some money in the meantime. I am 584,558 credits in the hole. However, I have 519 and 21 left over in the bank. I have enough to maintain the aircraft that I have right now, and in the mission sets that I have been exposed to right now are both impressive on the employee and freelancer side of the world. I decided that I wanted to put this aircraft in the middle of a field of them. And when I want to earn money, I can earn money all day long, both passively and in real time as a freelancer. I sold my Vision Jet for a reason. If I manage my companies, we'll see in all companies, my VIP charter service is empty, not being utilized. There are no aircraft available for those services, so I will no longer be charged insurance for that, or maintenance, or anything else for the Vision Jet. The cargo everywhere, on the other hand, what we've done is we've added another one of them, so now we have two that I can fly and keep on an on configuration. So one is working passively while the other one is earning in real time. And as we've seen, these missions take minutes to accomplish. I sold my Vision Jet for a reason. It was extremely easy to come up with passive income of over 298,000 in a day. Yes, the 85,600 won't be there. However, the time that I as a pilot spend in the air will be in an aircraft that I want to fly. Here's 107,950 credits for a mission that isn't going to take me any time at all to transfer to. I don't have to pay anyone because I based my airport in an area that is inundated with missions that make me money quickly. I think that this is one of the greatest things that I've done to my companies since restarting my career mode. Because it also helps me practice the method of extraction with a slack line. Sooner or later, and so far it hasn't been sooner, and I'm expecting it to be later, but I'm going to be able to control these aircraft from inside, even in a 2D environment. By using the models that are in the simulator as a reference. So each one of these missions has like a rig out in the ocean that you're going to deliver to or pick up from. And there's always like a superstructure involved. So what we need to do as pilots is actually start to just recognize where we are in relation to those superstructures. And sort of get away from wanting to stay outside of the aircraft. Now in this video, I'm probably gonna do more of the exterior than interior. But however, this is like a reference, okay? So what I'm gonna do in real time is try to start to learn how to manage these from inside of the helicopter. Because what I can also do is move, you know, I can be on the left side of the cockpit. Look at how far I can come outside of this aircraft from inside. All right, I can start to play with these cameras a little bit if I really want to. Okay, it's all about the button mapping that you're choosing. This little door right here is one thing. But I want to be able to learn how to create a in the cabin experience for these search and rescue missions. Because in the H125 that we've been flying from High Performance Group, it's actually been very easy to do that because of the amount of information that they display within their fold-out iPad. Well, let's learn how to do it from inside while passively earning income in the same aircraft, which is earning 100K per mission. That sounds like a plan to me.
Engines started preparing for takeoff. Please be ready.
The tension.
Copy that we're getting in position.
The tension is so thick. Cargo everywhere is going to start to change the way we see working with helicopters in 2024's
Here's
career
the deal
mode.
today, team. The service tanker just arrived. We need to hook and bring a gen set to the drop zone indicated on your map.
I'm probably kidding myself. But let's see what we can do. Passively earning income. While doing a hook mission is teaching us how to perform search and rescue missions. I want to make sure that I am very clear of my target before I go back in for a hover. Getting used to how your slack line looks underneath your aircraft is going to become extremely important. So if I were to take a look at two different things simultaneously, I have this nice wide exterior view and I can move my camera to a point where I can see its shadow on the ground. So I know that my slack line is X amount of feet off the ground. If I bring it a little bit lower, I can see that now it's just barely touching the ground. When I go back in, I want to get a visual reference of where I am on the tower in front of me. I can see that the split in the coloration of this tower on my right windshield right here is happening right around that diamond that's in the fairing of the window. And when I come back outside and reconfirm that, and go back in, you can see that that diamond on the right side is still lining up. I'm going to start to get a visual reference between the two. And now it becomes a matter of proximity. So once I get the proximity, I want to stay away from my pickup area. I'm not trying to trigger the mission steps. What I want to do is try to figure out how far away I am from this tower in front of me. So I'm going to do it from both outside and inside first. And this is literally just a matter of teaching myself where things are in relation to my aircraft and the safety of my blades. Again, that diamond on the right side of my windshield is in line with that split in the coloring for the most part. It's very hard to balance it there, but once it's there, I know my altitude is right. So now it's just a matter of positioning from inside the aircraft over the top of the target, maintaining the diamond to your spatial reference point. And you're like, dude, this is search and rescue helicopters. Well, you want to be able to learn spatial recognition around you. So I am trying in real time.
You're in the perfect position. Keep it steady.
To figure that out.
All cargo secured and balanced, ready for departure.
Watch that ascent rate, and you're just following along with the object in front of you. I have the target.
Yokai 5 cargo everywhere leaving port with 2 packs en route to deposit zone. Load 1,984 pounds. Cargo everywhere, Yokai 5104. Safe flight back.
From inside the helicopter, it is a matter of reference. This should give you a really good idea of how to handle an aircraft when you are doing search and rescue in any position anywhere on the planet as a pilot. It's visual reference. I didn't even use the mirror out in front of the helicopter. I specifically looked at the coloring split versus something in my cockpit. So now I'm taking these missions quickly. I don't care how long it takes me to put down this box.
I'm really fond of this bird. It's a real beauty. You'll see Rusty. We'll take great care of you. Yeah, I gave it a nickname, but sometimes it's like it's an old
Requesting
friend.
clearance
I'm
to
sure you
engage
feel the same
offload
way too,
operation.
Captain.
If you believe that,
Green deck permission to engage offload ops.
I'm lying. To a degree. Because once again, this is going to become a visual reference of what you see around you. Now, in this instance, I am using this tower. I can see from the circle at this point that it has it at the center of the tower. I am only trying to keep my aircraft steady. I don't care about the cargo under the helicopter. But I'm doing it from inside and inside only. At least hopefully.
Darn it, cargo everywhere. You almost hit something with your cargo. Lots of new faces down there. Hopefully, they are prepared. If not, we could be in trouble. Your mission didn't pan out as expected. It happens.
You can't do it. But I have stick time. Barely took a hit to the reputation. Right back into the missions. Oh, I have another one. $600 to get me there. Not a lot. Not a lot, not a lot, not a lot. And there's missions plentiful. What I should have done is done a restart. Like, as soon as I kind of thought I was getting a little bit too close to things around me. But, I want to try it. I want to try to be able to do that by a visual reference. Every once in a while, I'm going to slip into that kind of notion. But the fact that I can make 100K in a matter of 10 minutes, over and over and over again on one location, and just go ring around the rosy with these things until your heart's content, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, cool. You have to realize that all of your other companies that are in the background are still collecting that passive income. Find another way to control this thing without the mouse. That is for sure. Didn't check that left side. Probably gonna pay for that in the morning, but we'll see.
Engines started preparing for takeoff. Please be ready.
Copy that we're getting in position.
I've been doing a few things in the background over the last couple of days that have really got my excitement level up a little bit.
Crew has checked your rotorcraft and secured the helideck. The backup boat is anchored just a few cables away.
We've been talking about doing some
We
hide
need
and
to hook
seek and things
bring
like
a
that.
gen set to the drop zone indicated on your map.
I've got some things working in the background for hide and seek. We're gonna see how things go. Out the window, we're gonna see. Now this time, I'm gonna do it from outside.
load secure and balanced, ready for liftoff.
And whether or not it's search and rescue, this is the same skill set involved with operating a hoist.
Docker 2 cargo everywhere. We're leaving with 2 packs. Heading to deposit zone. Tanker. Load 2,205 pounds.
Being able to manage the
Cargo
stability
everywhere, copy. Fly safe.
of your load almost entirely at this point, to me, depends on creating a balance between both interior and exterior operations of the helicopter. Mike, unfortunately, my trim will never work in the H125 because this variant of the helicopter does not have the ability to be trimmed. The trim that we felt initially back in the day was Phantom. There is no SAS trimability or autopilot or anything of the sort within this variant of an Airbus H125. Some of the control mechanisms.
Don't worry, buddy. We'll treat you right, won't we, Captain? I call it buddy. It's like it's alive.
Some of the control mechanisms that exist on the aircraft's model, like on the Cyclic, you will see that it has trim options there, but it is not a trimmable aircraft at all. It must be a PC thing. And I agree, it probably is, because I've heard people having success with trimming out this aircraft on Xbox, but at the same time, what I want to see is a little bit of consistency. Either the aircraft is trimmable or it's not. You know what I mean?
Hook removed, load secure.
Now notice that aircraft never put the target down onto the helipad. Or I should say, I never actually put the cargo down. The crew started working on it before the cargo ever hit the deck.
Lots of new faces down there. Hopefully they are prepared. If not, we could be in trouble.
That's one item off the list. Work's moving along nicely. Time for a good break now, guys.
That's unfortunate to hear. Carabro, brother. That's unfortunate to hear. Cerebro, how do you want to pronounce that? That's unfortunate. The experience that I'm getting in 2024 is nothing short of amazing compared to what 2020 had to offer. And that's a shame. I can still operate every aircraft I had in 2020 within 2024. No problems at this point. If I want to hop into an H145 and do like a neo fly,
For sure. Anyway, it wouldn't be fun getting lost in this area.
I'd be able to do that.
To be rough when the weather turns bad.
Are we getting some bugs right now on what's going on? Absolutely, but who honestly cares? Dude, the base simulator is the most impressive flight simulator I think the planet has ever seen. And it is a matter of time, because you have to appreciate that this simulator is in its infancy. Can't do what on Xbox? Mike, what can't you do? I don't think that the bugs and glitches that you think are there are as plentiful as you think. I think you're trying to probably just rush through the process a little bit too much. I have the Aviator bundle, bro. That's what I'm flying. Fly the H125. I love that helicopter. Do you want me to fly the H125 in like a free fly? Is that what you're trying to do? Well, right now I'm letting my rotor blades come down to a sizable RPM. We're about there. I'll slide that back. We'll end this mission. Do you want me to fly an H125 around for a little bit somewhere? I mean, I'm not going to be able to do it in a career mode, but I can certainly take an H125 for a ride around the planet somewhere. You can't fly it. A little bit of a horrible grade there, but look at, okay, minutes. 141,290 credits within minutes. And at the same time, I have another aircraft just like it running passive income in the background. As I finish a mission, it finishes a mission for the same amount of money. I think flying these cargo missions and hook transports with a 125 is going to be extremely impressive. I do have the 160 available, but the 225 has been the request. Let's go ahead and configure the 225. I don't think it's an arcade game at all. It's close, but there's purpose built within it. It teaches people how to stick to their guns. You're either going to give up on it or you're not. You either have career goals and life goals that you need to meet, or you don't. Yeah, it's got bugs when it starts, but at the end of your life, how many of your goals did you meet? Did you keep trying? The visuals of 2024 are absolutely insane, and I cannot get enough of it. I agree. Heli man, it is absolutely spectacular. 100%. Nothing like this has ever been done before. If you're like, okay, well, DCS gives you this, this, and this. Well, okay, well, how much clarity of the planet does DCS give you? I totally understand what you're saying, Mike, about stopping playing until they fix it. But I guess what the point of this channel is to do is sort of like make sure everybody knows that there's a community of people out there that are reporting the bugs that we're all finding. And we're trying to make it a better experience faster. That's what it's all about. You know what I mean? The 225. This is a beast. What do you mean by can I click on my collective, Mike? Is my collective functional for you? Of course it is. I've got a Thrustmaster T1000. And if I want to go up, all I got to do is put a little bit of, thrust into it. Overspeed it a little bit if you want to. This aircraft should be used within the career mode, if you ask me. I've got landing gear that I can actually set a parking brake for when you're in the 125 and you're in those rescues that are in the mountains and there's snow and you're going to wind up a toboggan yourself. If you hit the parking brake, your aircraft tries to hold onto the mountain if it's not too much of a slope. But here we have an aircraft that has actual landing gear, then you can actually set a parking brake to, but they chose to use the 125 instead. It honestly doesn't make any sense to me. But if I were to go for a aircraft that is meant for one thing and one thing only, is search and rescue, I would give it the 145 by Hype Performance Group. Either that, my second guess would be the 160, but they need to create a variant for the 160 that has the ability to have a hoist and all of the other good stuff on it, because the 160 doesn't come with those peripherals just yet. They've planned on it, but not yet. So if I come into the controls of this, right, one of the biggest things about this is your control settings and how you're working your controls. If I go on to a cyclic search by input and right stick, and then go to the settings wheel, tweak the action curve, you can see that this is not normal. This is not how your sensitivities are probably set up, but this is how I have mine, right? The sensitivity end is increased both positively and negatively by 0.5. Neutral is at 0, but the dead zone's at like a 0.1 is what I would call it. Every once in a while, these numbers get a little skewed, but when you try to move them, it reverts back to more whole numbers, or at least better increments, right? But creating a dead zone in your equipment to make sure that when you're not putting any input into the controls. Your surfaces are not randomly inputting controls of their own. All right? You want to make sure that all of those are proper. Now, this is one thing that you're going to see with a lot of these aircraft. As soon as I come out of that menu, this thing is just in an oscillation. And if you're inside of the aircraft, you're going to get sick. So I get a lot of questions about, like, wow, why don't you stay on the inside of the aircraft? Because at this point, my viewers are going to puke pretty soon, right? It's nonsense. Try to get control of the helicopter again before we can actually go back inside. The point of the matter is, right now, one of my biggest concerns with Microsoft is that they're really having a hard time with this management system specifically. Now, on my throttle for this specific aircraft, which is already recognizing as the current plane, Airbus Helicopters H125, it's not remembering exactly where my keyboard inputs are. So if I come in here and choose this button, this is brakes off, but this should be, nope, this, see, it is duplicating things and changing up the way things are mapped. This has been going on since launch. So toggle landing gear I should have here. And we'll see if it comes back into an oscillation. Nope. But now that I have that mapped, the landing gear come up. I don't see any difficulties with this aircraft at all. This is a matter of button mapping and sensitivities. What is a honeycomb yoke like? So is it more of what you would see like the steering wheel side of things when it comes to, like, if you were sitting inside of a Cessna? Because the relationship, I think, in a stick, or cyclic as a helicopter pilot would call it, right? That relationship, when you try to convert it to the movements of a yoke, that looks something similar to the inputs in a Cessna, for me, that would be very confusing. Ta-da. This thing works great. The 225, I would prefer to see this inside of my missions. I would rather run this than a 125. Any day of the week. Because it has a hoist. It's a trimmable aircraft, so I can actually use beep trim and left, right, rudder, you know what I mean? Longitudinal and lateral trims can all be managed with this aircraft. I would rather run this all day long. But 6 1/2 dozen of the other. There is still the option to run these career mode missions from aircraft that you will purchase in the marketplace. You're complaining about it's not blah blah or it's not blah blah. Hey, it's about to be more than that. Because if you go into the missions, I haven't scraped the planet. I haven't even begun to scrape the surface of the planet. Right? But I'm in a freelancer mode right now. It's all about what missions you choose and where you put your aircraft. So what do I have up inside of the hills? Where there are search and rescue missions, I have a search and rescue helicopter. The crew is available. Great, awesome. I don't want to just do that. I want to fly that mission. But now I have an aircraft that's going to be earning me more passive income in the background. Right? I know that a 125 in a cargo configuration is even making more than a cargo, or I'm sorry, it's even making more than an H125 in a search and rescue configuration over the same amount of time. 4 hours, 18 minutes for cargo, which are these hook missions that I'm doing, is 780 credits, right? 100K plus. But I could still be doing search and rescue without a vision jet in the background. Everyone's like, oh yeah, let's do the passenger transport. Let's get VIP transport. We'll make more money faster. I got news for you. I wound up doing a gold flag, one of those, gold star missions that they have out there for the 737. Mind you, it was on the employee side of it, but it was a 13-hour flight. And I did the entire thing without doing any sim rate increase or sim rate decrease. But on the employee side of the world. And when I came back from that mission, I stopped the simulator, and 2 hours later, it was the 100 UTC time. I planned it out pretty well as far as timing goes. I got literally no credit as passive income for those flight hours. None. So I'm starting to think that maybe there was a reason to have a Vision Jet. I might actually earn my way back into putting another one of those in my hangar just for the passive income that it is able to produce. Yeah, it's going to wind up taking a little bit more money to maintain this, that, and the other thing, but that was a profitable aircraft. I sold it to put a second H125 into the mix. So is the honeycomb yoke something that looks more like a Cessna control? Almost like a steering wheel? I don't think it ever got the crew on board here. That would be an absolute no. Gotta love that. What? Yeah, I knew I left the tag on there. Maybe two. First day, dude. How long have I been doing this, man? It'll never cease to crack me up. The amount of times that I could go through this and still miss things. It'll never cease to amaze me.
Scout 1-4 SAR Heli 240, one ready for departure.
Yep, we're ready for departure, all right.
One Scout, 1-4 green light.
Okay, just a quick reminder of the urgent situation at hand. We've got a missing man here. Name's David. Went hanging out near the Asobo mountain earlier today, without any help, no first aid, and no way to get in touch if something goes wrong. Conditions are pretty challenging out there. Take off immediately and fly over the area and scan for any signs. The team's concerned because we've had no radio contact since then. We'll stay in touch to coordinate the operation. Let's go.
What I like to do is pop this little bad boy out right. Oh, and it's going to give me the ATC infraction while I do it, of course, because that's how we do. Like, if there's a few things to work out, that process right there should be one of the biggest priorities of Asobo and Microsoft. There is no reason to do all of that hold short taxi nonsense when it comes to a helicopter search and rescue mission. Talking about all these things that you can't do between a PC and Xbox. There are some things in the simulator that we both experience that are just simply nonsense at this point. But we all have to realize that this simulator is still in its infancy. This thing has barely learned how to walk yet.
SAR Heli
But the
241
stability
Scout 14.
that it
Okay, I'll take that.
has,
Seconds count. You can
even
panic when
after
you're
a
lost and do
really
something
bad
irrational.
launch, the stability of this is quite phenomenal. The amount of data.
Your map should display your assigned search area. Check it regularly. No news so far, but the family thanks you for your help.
For this
You're really brave. We all
groundbreaking
hope you'll find it
simulator
quick.
that's being correctly processed when put head to head with the data that's not being processed, the bugs, the things that are coded incorrectly. This is a win. Was it premature? Probably. However, it's only a sandbox. So the lot of the community for the next 4 years has something to play in. The sandbox is everything that we wanted it to be. I've even pushed some of my graphics settings up tonight. and I'm very curious to see how this goes, but I've got some of these more ultra settings going here tonight on my 2080 Ti. It's going pretty well. I haven't looked at frame rates because frankly I don't care. I don't see very many issues with it. All I know is this bird right here's got my name on the side of it. And now we have no Vision Jet. But we do have 3 H125s in the air right now. This search and rescue helicopter and 2 working passively doing cargo missions, which brings up a point.
SAR Heli 241. Hope things are going well.
When I
We should be
did
able to spot
the
anything unusual
Vision
from up
Jet
there.
sale,
We need to move fast. Keep us posted.
I had been recording a history of making money passively while flying other transport missions. After I sold the Vision Jet, not only was I not making money from that, which I shouldn't have because the company doesn't exist anymore, but the other aircraft that I was flying weren't making money because I didn't have that kind of company anymore. And here's what I mean by that. So I did that 13-hour or whatever it was long haul mission in the 737 while not owning a Vision Jet. Okay? And I came back at that point earning less money and I think this chart is jacked up. Because look what's going on. The Cirrus Vision Jet at 4 hours and 18 minutes says it earned 85,600 credits. At the same time, the 125 Cargo Everywhere, at the same amount of flight time, earned 100,780 credits. At the same time, my search and rescue barely earned a little bit more than half of that. But while this was going on, I had sold
It seems David doesn't
my
know the
Vision
site pretty
Jet.
well, but he surely managed to take shelter somewhere safe on the mountain slopes.
The day after that, my passive income, and I don't have a screenshot, was barely 15,000. Even though I did a very long haul flight in a employee side of things, which should have, quote unquote, should have accumulated time for me as a passive income, even if it was at a discounted rate, I got nothing for it the day after. And I have a sneaky suspicion that that is specifically because I no longer have an airline that runs that type or specialization. right? So I sold the Vision Jet first. That airline of VIP charter is empty in my all companies. And then I go to fly a mission in a 737 for 13 plus hours, however long it took. And it didn't count as flight time the following day. I think what we're discovering is that if you want to earn the passive income, what you need to do is actually own one of those varieties of companies. So if you want to earn passive income, as a VIP charter service, you can't just own the company. You have to own the aircraft and that's the caveat, and you have to fly that aircraft at least one time in the 24-hour period that is between the UTC 0-100 hours reset of your passive income. When they pay you out, it matters what kind of airlines you have and what kind of flights you have flown. Employee or employer. It almost feels like I'm talking in circles, and I might be. But the numbers are telling me things about this that kind of add up. And I will say kind of. Because stick time is stick time. If they're talking about creating a simulator, if I have the ability to be in the air as a pilot, I'm going to be in the air. That should count towards my hours in my logbook, which is associated with your EFB. Your EFB is static in every instance of the simulator. If I were to go into an EFB and look at the pilot, I can see that I have visited 247 airports. I've had a total of nearly 1,000 takeoffs and almost 100 landings. Why those are so despairing, I don't know. Wink did a wink wink. But it is tracking this information. It's not bugged. It's just a baby. We will get there. And I'm going to do it without a Vision Jet. For now.
We lost track somewhere around where you are now. He took with him an orange hiker's backpack, maybe easy to spot from where you are.
It's a game. I get it. SAR Heli is still flying the same missions. Heliphil, I don't know if you have experienced other missions, but I have not. My missions are repetitive every day. Every day. There are occasions where it's like, for one day, I'll see a survivor in a different location than they were the day prior. But it will last for like the 24-hour period. Sometimes even less. For search and rescue missions, the regions that I stick to, I mean, so far I'm kind of up the west coast of the United States for my career when I'm as a freelancer. But when I do the employee missions, it's kind of a free-for-all. It's absolutely frustrating to tell you that you don't have a mission available when they said that they would have 3 million missions available, updated, blah, blah, yada, yada. Okay. It's great. They will eventually. They don't yet. That's for sure.
I'm sure he is not far. Track an orange hiker's backpack down.
The one thing that I've noticed a lot about these too, even when they do repeat, because I am getting so many of them at this point, I actually start forgetting where they are. as many times as I've been there before. It's quite comical. Like, is this the first time you... Nope, this looks familiar. Like, it takes me forever to find him every single time, even though I know that I've been there before. And maybe it's the simulator not responding in a timely manner or whatever, but... it's a good time. Shetland Islands. Nice. As close to Scotland as you've seen. Just wish I could get ones around the coast here. Yeah, I mean, the variety is the spice of life, right? That's what we're all kind of after. And maybe, just maybe, that's on the horizon. I really do think that's where we're going to land. We're just not there yet. The scenery in 2024 is unmatched. I'll put this up against a DCS or any other simulator platform that we have for rotorcraft right now. The atmospherics, the flight characteristics, all of it. There's nothing even coming close. Would I like to marry DCS with Microsoft? Absolutely. If I've got an F-18 or an A-10 Thunderbolt and an F-16, I mean, let's go to war. But the scenery in 2024 is unmatched. Alright, so I do see the orange smoke. After coming through the area more than once. I am not going to immediately recognize this with the quick reply button to let them know we found him. We're going to get dizzy instead. That's a lot to manage, I'm just saying. So let's see what we've got going on. I can see that mirror glinting. There it is. Right? Now I'm going to reply.
Found him. He reached a safe spot. Coordinates 48 north, 120 west.
Target in sight. Let's get ready to extract him.
Parking brakes are on.
14 SAR Heli 241 landing.
I want to bring this down into a configuration where it is nearly a hands-off hover no matter what.
Moving to helicopter. SAR Heli 241, ready to extract. Captain, missing people and medic team, ready for takeoff.
Up, out, done. Live missions? Okay. Well, what if I were to tell you that we have the ability to do that? Have you seen me using the H125 action pack? Samurai, that's possible. If we both have a 145,
Catherine, and I'll be taking care of you.
I could share a file with you.
Feel free to ask anything. I'm here to
And
help.
you should be able to see where the survivors are and where the boat crashes, automobile accidents. You should be able to see where all of those things are, and we should be able to attack those, even sometimes mass casualty events, together as a team. Check out some of my videos about the 145. It's even better when you don't have the visual assistance on. Especially on a PC. I can turn the mission steps into this off-screen configuration. Just load it over here. I can still see it. If I bring up my EFB, I can do the same exact thing and disconnect it. And just bring it over to another screen. If you've ever seen the show Coast Guard Alaska, Samurai, you'll know that that has a lot of really big names with it. Take your little live boat traffic nameplates on and go for a ride around Sitka, Alaska.
I'm sure you'd like something to drink right now. Anything you have? I'm so thirsty.
Sitka, Alaska is where they do the, or where they did the filming of Coast Guard Alaska. One of the bases. Doing these search and rescue missions in the 145 that I can create around the Alaska area, and when you're up in like Juneau or even some of the back country of Alaska, I can come up with some pretty dynamic rescue missions that are shareable, even right now in 2024 as it stands. We're so close to testing whether or not I am able to produce a mission and share it with everyone. And then we're all able to go out and collect like a mass casualty event. We're very close.
I was thinking, do you always fly with the same team?
It depends on the mission and the criticity, but the rescuers usually partner with the same team of pilots who swaps in and out according with their schedules and the conditions.
I still really need to know what criticity means. Has anyone gotten a definition of criticity yet? Before I got into this, though, I had over 1 million credits for the first time on a positive note for my company. And I decided to dump that all into another 125, but a cargo variant instead of search and rescue, for a reason. The cargo missions have flowers of availability around the planet that are guaranteed successful. Anywhere you see a bunch of oil rigs being generated, if you put a cargo helicopter anywhere near those oil rigs, you are going to find on the employer side of your sim, career mode, missions available to fly on a regular basis. I have still yet to find a place that is consistent with putting out reasonable search and rescue missions. There's a couple around the planet, but they're coming out with minimal missions so far. But because I know that the profit margin for increasing my fleet is highly dependent on availability to fly as a freelancer instead of an employee, I want to make sure that even if I'm flying a hook mission, that's going to be having a greater impact on the overall passive income that I'm allowed to make the following day. Because a Vision Jet was not making as much as the 125 cargo hook.
I've always been fascinated by helicopters. It calls for expert piloting skills.
Samurai wants a nighttime sea rescue with the Scottish coast
I'm lucky today.
in the
Even if my
weather.
heart is going to drop.
You don't have a lot to ask, do you? The Scottish coast in weather. Oh, okay. I think we might be able to make that happen. Just danger? I don't know. I mean, that's what they're out there doing every single day, right? They're putting their lives on the line. They're in danger's grip. It's always great to see you back in these streams too, Samurai. I'm just gonna say.
Charlie Bravo, Bravo 9er traffic SAR. Heli 241, Sierra Alpha Romeo 70, 105 miles west 3600. For inbound to land runway 12.
It is nice to be seen. 100%. And I think the way I can get that mission done for you is in an H125 ADAC variant in a free flight. And I would just use the action pack that comes with that variant. And I can create a mission in real time to make that happen. Which is why I have so much faith in what is yet to be seen with Flight Simulator 2024. This is nothing short of incredible. As it should be, Samurai. This entire thing is just a platform at every creator's thumb tip, right? It's not that we have the ability to fly around and see everything in real time. It gives the community the opportunity to dabble on that large of a canvas. SOS Death Palette. Cheers, brother. Good to see you back, my man. Thanks for tuning in while you're working, my man. I appreciate you. SOS Death Pilot has been around the channel for quite a bit, and I just want to say thank you for your time. Thanks for stopping in. Hopefully you guys are learning something from it, or at least being able to enjoy it from my point of view. So you heard that DCS was planning on the same as far as like an update to their world fidelity? Well, of course they are. Look what they have to compete with. Oddly enough. I mean, that's the progression of the world, isn't it? Once something is achieved, somebody else has to make it better. That's the global economy in a nutshell.
Charlie Bravo, Bravo 9er traffic SAR, Heli 241, Sierra Alpha Romeo 7810 is taxiing to parking.
Why do I have to go 30 feet? Why? Some of this stuff is, you know what I mean? Like this stuff? So
Congrats,
ridiculous.
SAR Heli 241. Amazing job out there. You really made a difference for that man and his family. So touching.
It's so touching. Because we touch. What do you mean by dynamic campaigns? Was that the DCS asking for dynamic campaigns? So, an ongoing war that never really stops, that any player can jump in and out of at any point. Some multiplayer servers already have homemade versions. I'm just curious. Is that what you want to represent? An ongoing, never-ending war? Or would you rather just represent something that allows you the opportunity to fly and save people's lives? Call it a narrative. Call it my perspective. With a radio communications aviator performance hit, I still get the S. Surely. Surely. And again, there's another 112,000 credits. And you can see, as I've spoken about previously, that reputation matters. Yes, my account takes these ups and downs with reputation on a consistent basis. But you want to be able to maintain that S rating as vehemently as possible. Again, that VIP charter service is blank and empty for now. If, or should I say when, I want to reestablish this company just for that passive income, I don't even have the option to recover a Vision Jet. Not in that market. If I go to the brand new market, then I have a Vision Jet, which I could technically already afford again. Not yet. Not yet. I want a little bit more money in my account to make sure that if there's any maintenance that needs to be done on the purchase of that aircraft, I'm going to be able to afford it. But for now, where I am sitting, I have a little bit over 740,000 in the bank. That is not a bad deal after going broke on multiple occasions. I'm okay with it. Yes, my account still has negative 360,000 credits to it, but again, we have seen that recovered very, very quickly in the past. I'm not worried about it. I'm going to continue to run these missions passively in the background as a search and rescue pilot and as a cargo hook transport pilot using an H125. And it is going to continue to earn this airline money. I sold a Vision Jet for a heap of dirt, and I think I wound up on top. I appreciate every single one of you being here. Samurai, SOS, Death Pilot, SoCal, The Heli, Bill, Serrero Brother, Mike, everybody that's been here. I appreciate each and every one of you. We're going to do this again soon. It has been a blast. It has been a ball. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, that's it. That's all. We will see you in the next one.